I'm Crystal Stump, founder and CEO of ABC Consulting and former Virginia ABC Special Agent from the Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority. Thank you so much for watching this video. Today I'm going to explain to you what a COOP is in the state of Virginia. Pour yourself a drink, you're going to need it. Welcome back. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and like this video if you think this information is important and valuable. Give it a thumbs up. Comment, let me know where you're watching from, and if you are a future or Virginia alcohol licensee, I hope that you find this channel informative and educational. That's my entire mission. I want to bring my experience as a former agent, my information that I have. I'm not an attorney. I'm just here to give you as much information as possible, things to think about, my opinion on things. And if you ever hear different information or information is not exactly in line with what I'm saying on this video, I welcome you to comment that below. Let me know what you're hearing, where you're hearing it from, because one thing that I try really hard to do is make sure that the information that is out and about with the alcohol licensee community is that it's consistent. The ABC Authority has 9 regions in the state of Virginia, and all of these regions are managed with a team of special agents that work for the ABC Authority, and they are tasked with enforcing the ABC Code. So if something is not the same in Northern Virginia as it is in Southwest Virginia or Richmond or Coastal Virginia, those conversations need to be had. So I definitely welcome that on this channel. Let me know if you've ever had a COOP before. Let me know what your experience was like. Let me know how you found out about a COOP, because it is relatively new in the state of Virginia. It's only been in place for a few years. So let me get right to it. The COOP is called a Continuation of Operations Permit. It's issued by the ABC Authority to a applicant, someone who's applying for an alcohol license. And that COOP basically serves as the permission to utilize a currently active license at the same location while the person is applying for their new license. Now, before I get into really going into the COOP, let me give you a little bit of background on why a COOP would even be needed. The ABC Authority issues licenses to entities. So if you're operating an LLC or a corporation, the license is issued to that entity. And it's also issued to the location. So it has to stay at that location. You can't move a license around to another address without having to reapply. So that license is issued to that location. And let's say that you want to sell your business or you want to close your business. Regardless, that business is not planning on operating there at that location any longer. And there's a new person who wants to come in and take over that space, and they want to apply for their new license because they have their own legal entity. And there's a whole video on what you need to know before you apply for an ABC license where I talk about legal entities, you know, the name that you register with the State Corporation Commission versus your trade name and different things like that. So watch that video too. But if someone has a legal entity name that they want to come in and take over the space, meaning they don't want to take over your legal entity name, right? They're not buying your entity, they have their own. That's going to require them to reapply for their own ABC license, because your license is issued to your entity, so a new license has to be obtained in the new entity name of the new entity that's coming into the space. So when that happens, you know, as you know, there's a whole video on how long does it take to get a license. Watch that video too, because that kind of goes into the details on how long it's going to take. But the beautiful thing about the COOP is you can still sell alcohol while you're going through that application process as the new owner, if, and there is a big if, there always is, right? So if the current licensee is willing to allow this to happen, so they have to sign off saying that it's going to happen, the current licensee also has to sign that the taxes are all up to date. So either the current licensee has to make sure they're all paid and up to date, or the new licensee has to agree to assume those. So that's something you need to have a conversation about if you're planning on getting a COOP. go ahead and have that conversation with the current licensee about the taxes and make sure that those are all up to date, or there's a plan in place to make sure that the taxes are all taken care of. Also, there cannot be pending charges on the current license. If you plan to get a COOP, if there's pending charges, then that could prohibit a COOP from being issued and approved. So, and sometimes the current licensee doesn't always know there's pending charges. And so don't just assume if they didn't tell you that there's no pending charges. They may not know. If there is a MBAR violation pending, or maybe an undercover investigation that the agents have been conducting, you know, those are things that the current licensee may not know about, and those questions need to be asked during that process. So that way you know if you can even get a COOP permit. Now, when you submit your new application, that's when you submit your COOP application, or your request for a COOP permit. And you will want to submit those at the same time and be able to show that your entity is going to be taking possession of this space, whether it's with a lease or a purchase or whatever documents that you have in place to show that you're basically taking over the location and you'll be in total control of that location. Now, something else to know, because you are going to be in total control of that place, if there is any ABC violations that happen after that COOP is approved, you, the new licensed entity, is going to be held responsible for those. So if someone sells to an underage person, that's going to be on the new entity, not the old entity. Okay? So sometimes the entity that is leaving the location, they don't realize that sometimes, and they think they're still going to be held liable. But that's kind of the nice thing about the COOP. I mean, it puts everything on that new licensed entity. So a COOP, I think, is good for about 180 days. In some cases, it can be extended, but you want to try to, don't just get a COOP permit and then just think, oh, well, this is fine. I'm just going to keep my application pending and I'm not going to hurry and respond and get this new license issued because I have a COOP. That is a very, very bad idea. You need to really press forward quickly to get your new license approved, because you don't want a license pending. Pending licenses can cause problems. You want to get your license as quickly as possible. You don't want any issues to happen while you're in a pending state, right? You don't want to be doing any ownership changes or anything that's going to delay the license. You don't, if you're open, you certainly don't want to have any ABC violations or something like that. So the COOP can be kind of tricky. I mean, if you get a COOP approved and then all of a sudden you have a bunch of ABC violations and you haven't even gotten your new license yet, it's potential that the agent will call your application to a hearing, thus delaying the approval of the license, maybe even preventing you from getting a license because you couldn't even operate in a compliant manner during the application process on the COOP. So, you know what, you have to sit down and you have to look at the pros and cons of the COOP. Because if you don't get a COOP, the worst thing that happens is you don't sell alcohol during your application process. And if you're going to be closed for construction or some small renovations, or you want to be able to have another grand opening, then maybe a COOP is not the best thing for you. So it's something that you just got to kind of weigh the options of what is the benefits, and it's a cost-benefit analysis. You have to sit down and just kind of figure that out. But remember that licenses are issued to entities and locations, and the COOP is going to help with being able to make a transition seamless if you don't want any downtime of alcohol sales. And a COOP could be beneficial, like if you don't really want the public to even know that there's been really a change. Let's say that you're going to keep the trade name the same, but the entity's changing in the background. You know, the average person is not even going to know that that's happening. I mean, you do have to do a public notice, a 30-day objection period, and a public notice in the legal publication that you've applied for a license. And if you need help getting a COOP or get help getting a new license, you know, that's what we're here for. You can visit our website at VAABC.com. That's going to take you to our ABC consulting page. And from there, you can click on the retail licensing button on the home page. That's going to take you to our online form. Fill out the questions. We'll review your answers and send you an estimate on how much the license is going to be, as well as our services. And remember, the licenses vary in cost depending on what license type you're getting. And it depends on if you're getting a restaurant license or a a gourmet shop license, a convenience store license, you know, it just depends on the pricing, but we'll send you an estimate for all of that. And then once you're licensed, we help you from all the way the start to the end on the alcohol licensing process. So once you're licensed, hopefully that'll be, their ABC saying somewhere around 60 to 90 days now for licensing. So, you know, plan for that and know that that's gonna be a possibility. It might be 45, 50 days, not likely, but that's a potential, because it's not gonna be any less than 30 days, that's for sure, because that's your objection period. So watch my video on how long it takes to get a license. I go into more detail about that there. But we can help you once you're licensed with making sure your records are being kept properly. Watch our record keeping video to learn more about that. If you're a mixed beverage licensee, we have a ratio calculator under our services tab of our website. You can click that and go in and make sure that your ratio is running in a compliant numbers. And if you have any questions about getting a license or a COOP, we're happy to help. Just visit our website, reach out to us. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this informative, please give it a thumbs up. Comment below. As always, have a wonderful day. Good luck with your business. Thank you for watching. Cheers.